Hello. I I think I might have it figured out. If not, let me know. Okay, I am live. Whew. Alrighty. Um, Taylor, I can't believe you're here. Oh wait, that's right. It's raining. There's not much else that we can do today. And Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you been doing the same thing as me the majority of all last night and this morning, and just watching um a lot of Taylor Swift videos and listening to a lot of Taylor Swift songs and watching Taylor Swift reactions to said songs? Yes. Folding clothes because I haven't even gotten to the 3 a.m. tracks yet. So, yeah. Uh, Gary is, he is according to him, I'm the warm-up act because he's not here yet. Good morning, Kels. How are you doing? How is the hey, how is the weather down there? Because I know it's been really crap, pretty much from Queensland through New South Wales down into Victoria. And hello, Desiree. Love that you are here as well. Marlene might be able to drop in, but she's at work today. You guys are still getting insane rain. Yeah, we were supposed to be. Hello, Diane. Welcome. Yeah, Gaz and I were actually we were supposed to be out camping and wheeling this weekend for the Australia Go Topless Day. But the rain, we saw the rain on the forecast as it has been. If you're in Australia, I think pretty much the only weather that we have had forecasted for the past, like since the start of the year, has been rain and more rain. We've had so much flooding in Queensland, New South Wales. Victoria is just really getting hit right now as well. I think we're looking forward to 2023. Not that I really want another year to get here because I kind of want the years to slow down a bit, but I want a year. I just I want no pandemic. I want no rain. I just want rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns. Yeah, Kels, I've heard that as well. That it's because we're not. I mean, we're only at the start of the wet season, technically. I think we're supposed to get. I think we're meant to get 2 weeks worth of rain here over the weekend, and we've already gotten, I think, 2 or if not 3 years of rain. It's just, yeah, it, it can, uh, it can, but at least it's not snowing, I guess. I mean, technically, snow doesn't flood, but in a way, it actually kind of does because when the snow melts, um, that can lead to floods and such as well. I ran into that when I was in North Dakota, back in the U.S. Is that even if the water is frozen, it has to go somewhere at the end of the day. But how are all of you? How are all of you guys doing? Whether you're in Australia, the US, I know Tay is setting up her house. If you have not seen Taylor Louise Budgets, if you have not seen her last video on her channel, she talks about the house that her and her partner Grant just purchased together, and then also some of the trials and tribulations that they have gone through with their home purchase process, and how ridiculous some of the laws in Queensland are. I think actually after watching Tay's video, I know that New South Wales and Victoria have a lot of laws that protect people from those particular situations, and hopefully Queensland starts taking some steps on that as well. For that. But oh, someone's finally decided to show up as
I
he's
had a
as he's supposed
prior
to be.
engagement.
So the bald-headed child is, well, he's not a child, is here. This video was actually made it again. Perfect. Yeah. Gaza. Kelly, it's so funny explaining to people in the US why we call him Gaza or Gaz when his name is Gary, and people are like, but I thought his name is Gary. I'm like, it's an Aussie thing, and that you get out
Away
of
from
there.
Come on.
Oh, I've got a puppy misbehaving. Explaining how
Sit.
they and to be fair, I never got it as well. But if you are in the US, um, one of the ways that they come up with nicknames in Australia is if your name has an R or two R's in it, it automatically gets changed to having two Z's and an A. So for Gary, even though his name only has one R, he's automatically Gaza. If your last name is Murray, you're Muzza. If your name is Aaron, spelled with an A and two R, you're Azza. Darren is Daza. There's so many other.
Yeah, well, it's just whatever you can easily say lazily. Service station is servo.
Afternoon is Arvo. Oh, but yeah, we've. Oh, so Adam is Adza or Adzi. Yeah, we
Oh, that's some effort to put a Y on the end of it. Why wouldn't you just go with ads?
but like Kelly is Kells
Hey, enough.
as well. So it's Liz, hello. How you do when you like him? That is the other thing. It is almost like with children that which nickname you use for them varies based on how happy or unhappy you are with your husband or your children for that day.
Sometimes I'm honey, sometimes I'm asshole.
A lot of times oh, Sarah, yeah. Sarah goes to Sezzy. If your name is Michael or Michaela, you're going to be Mick
Or Mac.
or Mac. Yeah. It and you learn to decipher all of it. Like Liz was so Liz and Les, I love
Get out of
her. I love her channel. I said it last week when I was on. She's my twin on the opposite side of the pond, and that uh Richard being
You had food in your bag and the dogs noticed that.
is Richard being Dick an Aussie thing? No,
No, most Richards are dicks.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Probably shouldn't have said my uncle's name is Richard. But yeah, but Liz is from Australia. She's living in the US, I believe in Ohio.
What is
Our
it with you
dogs are
guys?
knocking things down left and right here, so they're not.
It smells the cheese.
Oh, Okay, so Indianapolis, or so Indiana or Indianapolis in Indiana. Yeah. Okay. So you're in the middle of like the car racing capital, other than Florida, pretty much of the world. I mean, the Indy 500 there, um, the equivalent of Bathurst and corn. Yeah, I was in Nebraska. I mean, we had Herbie Husker and Little Red. It- You can see where Children of the Corn came from. Um, yeah, they actually they had to cancel part of Bathurst because of the rain this year, but, the part of the reason for doing this is sorry, we've got our dogs, and they're just being very, very much attention whores, but, he's given me the look,
No, but
telling me to quit talking so much and just get to the point. Uh, it
I
is.
wouldn't do that.
Yes, you would.
Mhm.
A lot of times I get asked how I got my husband on board with with budgeting, and, he was in a few of my videos a couple of times, um, just kind of like seeing his hands or hearing his commentary in the background. And we were out at the shops a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, I have a great idea. You should let me talk about all the things that you do about budgeting that annoy me." And I went, "Can we maybe make that into a Q&A instead of you just kind of ragging on me for an entire time?" So that's kind of
I'll just mention, you said that might go too long for people to keep interested. That's not. Okay, that's fine. I won't give you credit for being clever. Hello, puppy.
so yeah, basically he wants this as a way for you do uh, as a way for us to kind of talk about because budgeting is budgeting is hard. Um, and one of the most common questions I think that people ask is, one, how do you get your husband on board? How do you keep them on board? How do you not lose them in the process? Or how do you even have those conversations before, like even before getting married? Because we know that there's a lot of research around some of the biggest stressors in relationships are finances and money or impatience by
The
another person
the
who
second most common cause of divorce is financial disagreements.
yes.
The first most common is marriage.
Yes, the number one cause of divorce is marriage. Don't get married, you don't get divorced, which works really well in the US, but not so much in Australia because you have de facto. So I decided to put out there, um, for people to be able to ask questions of how you left your game going,
Yeah, I left it going.
of
I
of
told everybody I wasn't there.
of how we have managed to not strangle each other and stay on the same page in budgeting over god 20 plus years and many different stages of our lives. Like there was, I mean, from the time that we were in our mid 20s, and I think we were working 8 jobs at one time
Between
between
us, yeah,
between the
probably.
two of us
Like him.
to where we are at now. And I am not going to lie, some of your guys' questions have been absolutely some of them are a bit brutal, not going to lie. um I shared a few of them with him because I figured he would probably need to have some time to prepare for answering those. He didn't prepare. He's still just going to be he's just going to be
If
him.
I need a minute to think about it, I'll drink a beer while I think about it, and then you'll get a better answer.
See, that's a really good way to start.
What, drinking a beer?
No,
It's a
that's
little early.
whatever. I know you already had one. Um,
Yeah, I might have. Saturday.
but it is, yes. So it's Saturday morning slash Friday night. It's just after 10 o'clock our time, about 10:15. But so we'll actually probably start. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. but I'll start with so a lot of people sent their questions anonymously, and some people sent them with their names. A question that that was sent in by more than one person was, Gary, if you got the choice, what would you make your beer budget?
Look, I look at my beer budget as I get to spend that money on anything I want without having to produce a receipt to show what I've spent that money on. So the grocery budget would then become my beer budget. The beer budget would become the grocery budget. And then there's the receipts. And everything else that I buy falls under the beer budget. I'm not going to put a number on it, but just give me more.
Can I do that? Can I do that for my luxury budget?
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
going to
no,
put a
no.
number on it. Just let me
Wait,
have
no,
more.
you're not allowed to have a luxury budget if I'm not allowed to have a more cars and toys budget.
You have a more cars and toys budget.
No. Do I?
Yes.
Are you sure it's just not for parts for existing cars?
No.
Oh, okay.
How much is a 12 how much is a 12 pack of beer? They don't
If
sell.
no, you can. You can find one type of beer in a 12 pack here, and it is Coors, or back in the US, it's considered Coors Light. And it ranges from $29.99 per 12 pack to $33 per 12 pack, depending on which bottle shop you go to. Not that I paid that much attention to beer prices.
Yeah, beer alcohol is quite expensive.
If it's not good for you, it's not cheap.
That yeah, syntax. I would put a number on my luxury budget. I have a number on my luxury budget.
Yeah, I don't like the number on your luxury budget. I would buy a couple of cars for the number on your luxury
No, you
budget.
couldn't.
Want to bet? They might not be
That run.
running. Well, see, that wasn't part of the equation.
See?
I can still buy a couple of cars.
Technicalities. Yeah, Marlene, it's you will learn this when you get here. Uh, that's part of why like
A
fast
pint at the pub will cost you around 9.50 to 11.50.
and don't even ask about the price of cigarettes. It's I think a I would I'd have to ask Peyton because he smokes, but I think a pack of cigarettes is well over $30
Yeah, I think
at
they
this
don't get
point.
much cheaper than $30 nowadays.
And even if you smoke and if you travel to Australia, you can only bring one pack of cigarettes with you. After that, Australia is open for mail if it comes by air, but they have shut down taking in sea freight. They Yeah, yeah, Bridger should probably quit. Um,
Switch to chewing tobacco
only one
and
can.
smuggle multiple cans in just for me. I
No.
miss chewing.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. No, you
Okay. I don't need it,
no, you
but
don't.
I miss it.
Mhm. He yeah, no, he was a chewer. Um, how did I don't even know how to answer this one. How did our first budgeting conversation go?
Oh,
Like our
like
first one.
there. Mm, the very first one, like before it became an actual budget or back when we were scraping by. Which one is which?
Ooh. Probably when we were scraping by.
And when we were scraping by, it was a pretty shit conversation because it was Christmas time coming up.
Ooh, is this Nodak? Blue
That was
House.
more, yeah, Blue
Yeah, Blue
House,
House.
no doubt. I was trying to move between jobs. I've been working construction, and construction in North Dakota does not happen in winter. You can sometimes get a few refurbishment jobs or something like that, but it's not exactly going to pay the bills. So I was transitioning into the service industry. Christmas was coming up, and we had to make the choice of Christmas gifts or pay the rent. So we talked budget at that stage, and that was not a fun conversation. Um, swore to myself we'd never have a Christmas like again.
We put a string of beads on
Yeah,
the wall as a
we
tree.
put a string of beads on the wall as a tree because we couldn't even afford to go and buy a tree. I could have gone and cut one down from the hospital, but we probably couldn't afford the fines that I'd have gotten for the misdemeanor property offenses. Um,
Hey,
my
Veronica.
family helped me out. My brother, floated us some money to help cover some of the bills, and bought Peyton some gifts so that at least he had something under the lit up lights of a Christmas tree. But
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't good, and it was one of those things that early on in a relationship you don't want to have. But I wouldn't say it set a bad tone or anything. It made us both understand that we were on the same. What are you doing? Stealing the show. Um, Made us both understand we were on the same page on things and where our priorities actually were set.
Oh yeah, we've definitely been on struggle street, both individually and together as well. I mean, gosh, we're on what, 22, 22 years,
I'm not helping you out with that.
21, 20 years, 21, 21 years,
Yes. 21.
21. Yeah, 21. Yeah, 20, 21 years, and
Actually, probably a little over that. 21 and a half. Because if you think about how old your kid is, that kind of helps.
yeah, I know. I think about how old he is. He just had his birthday,
I know.
and you ain't his daddy.
I know. We should kick him out the house. We're charging more rent.
Uh,
He's mine in everything except the
Yeah,
DNA.
everything except the DNA. Even my ex-husband acknowledges that
Mhm.
Gary's been the better. He's been the better person, the better dad in that.
Would you stop it?
So I know. So Liz wanted to hear both stories. So struggle street of when we were scraping by, but then when did when did we actually start
Uh,
really budgeting? And
it was another one where you tricked me into it.
I'm not a trickster.
Uh-huh. We would have been perfectly happy being de facto, but you tricked me into marrying you. But we won't go into that one this time.
Did not trick you into marrying me. Dude, I moved to another friggin' country. I made you wait 11 years. I did not trick you.
So the other one was where we're sitting down one day, and Aaron had just recently gotten tenured and basically realized that she's untouchable when it comes to work because, well, she's pretty good at what she does. But she started going through and doing calculations and said, you could retire at 55 if we started budgeting. I said, let's budget. That's it. I'm going to retire early. Budget the hell out of us, baby. Now she's talking 60, 65.
Oh, we budgeted when we were in Omaha. That's when I found Dave Ramsey and Prairie
Yeah, it's not
Homemaker
when
and
we
all of
were.
that. That's
Yeah,
when we
but
started using cash envelopes and such.
yeah, but that wasn't really when we were comfortable, right? Omaha was okay. We did all right. We made, I had stable work. I was making decentish money, and we had disposable income. So that's probably about the time that we started making that disposable income do a little bit of work for us. But it's only been in the past 5, 6 years that we've really said every dollar has a job.
Yeah, because before we
What
didn't
are
have
you
enough.
doing?
He's licking my legs. He's weird. Yeah, because before we didn't have enough dollars for the all of them to have a job.
Yeah.
We were doing a lot of robbing from one to pay another, and
Yeah, I mean, we had the stock incentive program that we were investing in and things like that, but and my 401k, but we rated those rather than letting them sit and build. So, yeah, 5, 6 years ago, when she told me that I'd be able to retire early and just go fishing all the time, that's how she roped me into it.
it's for my benefit. Husband-free days. Hi, Kate Jane. Well, hey, Kate. Welcome. Good to see you here. Marlene, I did not trick him into marrying me at all. He was begging for years. The only reason that he finally got to marry me was because my mother pissed me off, and we've told
No,
that story
that
before.
was the engagement.
Oh, that was the
The
engagement, yeah.
marriage didn't happen for like 8, 9 years after that. You tricked me into that one.
I am not a trickster.
Mhm. Well, I can't read it. It
I
looks
know.
like hieroglyphics to me.
Who is the spender and who is the saver in our relationship?
Depends. I think we got to clarify that. Spending on what, saving on what? Because I save lots of money by doing our own car work. Sure, I buy upgraded parts and I make sure I do that.
How many tools do you have to buy to do car work? And
But
how many tools do you
those are
live?
investments.
No, they are not investments if you always need to keep buying more tools because you lose where they are.
No, I don't always lose where they are. I just sometimes lose them completely.
Marlene.
Yes, Marlene's right. Right. So here's the thing. I go, hey, I'm pretty okay with this. I need some money to maintain this vehicle or that vehicle or upgrade that vehicle. And Aaron goes, you should buy a boat. I go, why should I buy a boat? So you're not here as often. Fair enough. I guess I'll buy a boat. So I buy a boat. And then it does nothing but rain for the next 18 months. So you can't really take the boat out. So she goes, you should buy another motorcycle. You should buy a trail bike. So that's actually a good idea. Maybe I will hold off on that for now. But why should I buy a trail bike? So you're not here. Okay. Meanwhile, I have 2 motorcycles, one of which is supposed to be hers.
Everything is mine.
And I'm like, maybe I should just sell that motorcycle that's supposed to be yours. No, you shouldn't. Okay.
We can give it to Peyton.
Well, I ain't giving him a motorcycle. We gave him a car.
He paid for half of it.
Yeah. And half that motorcycle is worth more than his car. So he can give us money towards the motorcycle and his car, and I'll give him the motorcycle. I don't care. It's just sitting there in the garage. It's the Gutless Wonder. I mean, it's a nice enough bike if you don't like riding stuff. It's a good point. It's gutless, but it sounds good.
Mm.
It's a Gutless Wonder.
Love having a. Oh, being a hunting widow
Wait,
is.
wait.
I loved being a.
Oh, I thought you were talking on the car cleaning products and how many of those you buy, but don't use.
I do too use them. I use them to clean my car, just not yours.
You should clean my car. It needs it more.
You should take better care of it.
I'm in the middle of upgrading it, so it doesn't need to be taken care of.
You're a jerk. No, you know what, Marlene, I actually loved being a hunting widow. I hated being a hunting wife. Went out well, I wasn't even your wife.
No, that was
Went
yeah.
out hunting with Gaz one time, and I was just like, "Mm-mm."
Well, it wasn't a good experience. It wasn't my gun.
Oh, no, he is a very, very responsible hunter. He's the kind of his dad, my father-in-law, raised him well for hunting, and him and his brother has raised his son and his daughter the exact same way. I cannot He's not always a really good shot
With my
with
own rifle, I am a perfectly good shot.
but it's yeah, be it gun or bow season or anything, that's
And
the amount of respect that he has that goes with hunting. I won't eat anything that he hunts or brings in. I've tried it. We've always had a rule, not a rule, but kind of an understanding with food of if you make it, I will try it. Gary has always had a motto growing up that if you kill it, you eat it. You don't just He doesn't just hunt for sport. It was always, I mean, that's how his family ate as well. If they didn't have hunting and such like that, it's never been my thing. I was vegetarian for a good portion of my life. Tasha, hello, good evening. Thanks for stopping in.
I don't know, you were talking, not me.
I
You
was I was
interrupted yourself. The one hunting experience that Aaron had with me was, we went out with my cousins. I hadn't seen them in many, many years, um, and we just happened to go back for Thanksgiving. Her idea her idea. I said, "Are you sure you really want to do that?" She says, "Yes, I want to meet your family." I said, "Are you sure you want to go back for Thanksgiving and meet my whole family?" She said, "Absolutely." And then when we get there, she's like, "What is this small city of people doing here?" I said, "Well, you said you wanted to meet them. These are my cousins and second cousins and third cousins and their nieces and nephews." And it was
a lot of people.
a lot of people. And so cousins that I had grown up with said, "Hey, we'd like to take you out. We can go deer hunting. I know you haven't been out in a while." I said, "I don't have my rifle here. I haven't sighted." "Oh, you can borrow mine." My mistake. I should have insisted on at least going and sighting it in myself first, but it shot differently. And so the buck that I shot, I ended up having to shoot 3 times before it actually was finally down. One shot took it at the it wasn't a killing shot. Second one dropped it. Third one finished it. So it was probably the worst kill I've ever had in my life. Of course, Aaron is there. Um, Not to mention my cousin's pregnant wife is there.
Oh, that's right, Shane's wife.
No, David's.
Oh.
And
Well,
I think the part that got Aaron the worst was when my pregnant cousin-in-law started field dressing the deer in front of everybody else, and Erin had to go stand behind the vehicle so she didn't have to watch that because Desiree was right in there. She had the knife and going to
oh,
town. But somebody who grows up in Montana versus somebody who grows up in California, those are two different things. Things that she found normal, I found extremely disturbing. Like 40 people in a gas station, extremely disturbing. Apparently, that's normal in California.
kind of normal in Australia. No, field dress no, field dressing is just ew, no, it's just it's yeah, nah, ish. It's ish. That ish.
It's just the guts falling out. That's all.
It's that is not budgeting related.
Well, it kind of is because you take the waste and remove it from, no, not budgeting related.
Other than a way to fill the freezer.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly. And then
goodness.
you don't have to buy food.
Yeah. Well, that is
Okay.
oh, that yeah, that's probably if you had a budget category that I don't already have, what would that budget category be? It's kinda related to the food situation and not beer.
Well, no, I don't want you tracking my beer budget. My beer budget is my beer budget. Um, a category that's not there that I want to be there.
Don't even.
I was going to say trips back home, but you go ahead and use your dirty
I
mind to
no.
what your dirty mind was
No,
thinking.
no,
Where was your dirty mind?
I
Where's your dirty
have a
mind?
vacation envelope.
No, that's not, no, vacation is not the same thing. See what's in your dirty mind. Were you thinking hookers and cocaine?
No, that's Peyton.
Well, if you
No, he doesn't just by the way, to clarify, my son doesn't do cocaine that we know of. Hookers, we're not even gonna ask him about. He's a 25-year-old male.
Well, I don't know. Everybody else says they knew where your dirty mind was going, so I'm trying to figure out myself.
My dirty mind didn't go anywhere.
Uh-huh. That's why you went, don't.
No, because I knew your dirty mind was going somewhere. Star Wars fan. Next question.
Guess so.
We already asked who is a spender, who is a saver. Well, no, you actually never answered that. You're the spender.
Uh-huh. I buy so many handbags, it's ridiculous.
You bought me my first handbag.
I'm an investor.
You bought me my first
You
handbag,
told me that that would be the only handbag you ever needed, so I spent lots of money on it because I thought that's an investment. I'll never have to buy another handbag.
and you got the investment, me, and now you have to keep investing in it.
When that's not how that works.
The lightsaber has a rose. You did buy me my first, like, true, like, luxury handbag.
Yeah, off the interwebs.
Yeah, from the site, though.
True.
Oh, Jesus, some of these are really, really tough.
Well, they all look like they're written by the same person, so I
I
don't.
wrote them down because
Oh,
people
is
sent
that your
them.
chicken scratching?
I don't have
Hieroglyphics, I meant.
you know what you're gonna do with that spare category? The apologize to my wife envelope. That's what it's gonna be called. Gaz started. He did. He actually did. He bought me my very
I bought you more of them than you bought yourself. You just bought yourself the expensive ones. I'll be right back.
no, you bought my first expensive one.
No, I have bought you more than you have bought yourself. You have bought more expensive ones. I refuse to buy the expensive one.
He's lying. He's not here, he can't defend himself. Yeah. Liz, I actually do have a tough question for him. Um, yeah, when he ooh, you guys actually did send through some you guys did send through some tough ones. Not gonna lie about that. But yeah, he absolutely started my addiction. I am putting that 100% on him. A video ooh, where I show off my handbags. Liz, I've actually thought about doing a video like that, but we've got some kind of issues going on with a person kind of stalking around a house and such. So not really going to show off too much. That's actually why I'm not cash stuffing anymore because yeah. 10 minutes, have to do a shift briefing.
My foot fell asleep.
You should go tell someone. Okay. So before Marlene leaves, because she has to leave in 10 minutes, and Liz wants one of the really tough questions.
Okay.
What do you want Erin to do different, but are afraid to tell her?
Oh. Oh, wait, budgeting.
Yeah, this is about budgeting. Hi, Lay, welcome.
Look, I wouldn't say I'm afraid to tell Aaron anything. I'm afraid of Aaron's reactions sometimes. But, I think the one thing that I've always wanted to say is quit using the term, "We can't afford that." That one really pisses me off because I know how much we make. I know how hard we work. I know what we can and cannot afford. You could say it's not in the budget. You can say we haven't budgeted for that. You could say we can start a budget for it, but don't tell me we can't afford it because that one just shuts me down. I know we can afford plenty of things. We'd have to shift some things around. I might actually have to get rid of some of my toys. We might have to sell off some handbags, but oh yeah, but we could afford it.
We ain't selling no handbags.
I thought you told me they were an investment.
For my future grandchildren?
And if he has only boys?
I boys men can enjoy a good handbag as well.
Okay. But yes, that's the one thing I would ask her to stop doing. Don't use that terminology. Terminology is important. Um, I say that at work all of the time. Terminology is extremely important because it sets the tone for everything else. If you say we can't afford that, that's not aspirational. That means that you're shutting down the conversation right then and there, and that we will never be able to get to a point where we can have those kinds of things. If you say that's not currently in the budget, different story. All right, you're shutting me down, but you're not saying that we'll never have something like that, right? If you say we'll start a budget for that, that gives me a goal, that gives me a reason to support it, and that then means that we can move forward as a team and can find common ground and we've got a common goal. So at work, the term faulty gets thrown around because that's the term that was used for the past 20 some odd years as a normal part of business. I hate that terminology because every time somebody says the term faulty in one of our stores, it's undermining confidence in our product and it's undermining confidence in our product amongst people whose job it is to sell that product. So I look at things like that in the same way.
Right, that was kind of easy.
Well, you said it was supposed to be hard. Everything's easy for me, baby. That's why you married me. Supreme self-confidence.
Supreme something.
Lay would like to see your bags.
uh, I actually don't.
No, Taylor, that does not mean nothing gets hard. I'm not quite that old.
Degenerates. Yeah, it's and I think that actually came up last week as well of the wording that we use and what has a positive connotation, what has a negative connotation. Um, so that's the one thing that you want me to do different. Oh, do either of us spend money without telling the other?
No, because I am given an allowance and my debit cards are tracked. Does Erin spend money? Oh, absolutely. She spends money without telling me. I come home and I see, okay, you don't spend real money without telling me, but you go to Starbucks. Oh, no, never mind. Let me rephrase this.
That's with my
Erin
spending money.
never spends money without telling me because Erin always calls me as soon as she gets in the car to tell me she's in the car and that she's going somewhere and that this is what she's going to do when she gets there. And I go, "Yes, honey, that's great, but I'm in the middle of a meeting." Uh, Look, $5 here and there, a couple of dollars here and there, we might, but when it comes to something that's been allocated, no. We don't spend money without telling each other.
Yeah, like anything
Um,
major.
you
I
know,
mean, I told you everything that I bought this week.
you did. And that's the other thing you can stop doing. I'll go back to the previous question. You don't have to ask me permission to spend money. You just tell me this is what I'm going to do. Because if you do that, then I don't feel like I have to ask permission to spend money and I can just tell you here's what I'm going to do.
Whatever, you don't spend money. You won't even go and buy yourself underwear.
They they still stay up if I'm wearing a belt. Sure, the stretchy part's gone, but no, we don't spend money without
You
telling each other.
just said that.
Yeah. Well, I've got 5, 7 pairs that do have stretchy parts. It's only when I don't keep up with laundry that the stretchy ones come out. What? Is that part of a live to just have dead, awkward silence for a while
When
somebody
yeah,
scrolls through their phone?
when I'm looking at the questions.
Looks like Instagram.
I asked the questions on Instagram. Oh my god.
I love you too.
Yes, I love you, baby. Um, I don't know if I asked this one. Do you have any decision-making power, or do I make all of the financial decisions?
I think we share that, but do I feel like I have real power? No, I don't have real power.
You are fired. You are no longer my fake YouTube husband.
No, we share the decisions. We discuss
Jesus Christ.
we discuss actual financial decisions. It's to me, it's kind of a yeah, that needs to happen. Great. I don't need any kind of a business case built around it. You say this needs to happen. You've said here's why it needs to happen. That's fantastic. I'm not going to go through and say, show me your spreadsheet. Show me your business case. What's the
I'll show you my
assumptions?
spreadsheets.
I
You
don't
make my
want your
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
You help me with my spreadsheet.
I know, baby, but I don't want to see the underlying assumptions. I don't want to see all that stuff. I deal with that stuff at work. And then I question it, and then somebody goes, "Shush, an executive came up with that." I said, "Okay, well, that's fine. If that's what the executive's assumptions are, I need more people." Yes, you are the
Yay.
executive. You are the chief financial officer.
I am proud of my spreadsheets, but Marlene, he also does help me a lot with my spreadsheets as well. Um, Mainly because he has a PC and I work on a Mac. So there's some things that he has to do on his PC with formulas and graphs that I can't do on my Mac.
I thought it was mainly because I knew the formulas.
Some of it's because oh, fine. You knew how to do
Which one?
the table for the conditional statement of if I use this in the drop down here, it shows up here and it automatically does this.
If anybody ever wants to Google how to understand that, it's a nested if statement. You can Google it and learn it from there. But
You're my
I can
Google
do it.
berry.
That's right. I can do it so you don't have to.
Well, see, that's why I have you.
Mhm.
You're such a jerk. But yeah, no, we do. We make jokes around. I like to say, "What's his is mine. What's mine is mine." But
She ain't joking on that. That's 100% truth. But sometimes she lets me have some of it back.
I did offer to him for us to actually split up our finances and where we had
Oh,
a
wait, she
joint
didn't.
account.
You notice how she put that pause in there? Split up our finances. Similar to how it was presented to me. We can split up. I went, no, I don't want to. Oh, I was only talking about our finances anyway.
Goodness gracious.
Just how she tricked me into marrying her.
I did not trick you into
Yeah.
marrying me. You tricked me. You moved to Australia. You were like, here's the carrot. It's Australia. Come follow
Oh, is
me.
that what it was?
Yes.
Uh,
You're the Pied Piper, not me.
okay.
No, there was no dramatic pause. The dramatic
There was a
he
dramatic
he
pause.
made the dramatic. He made the dramatic pause on that. But I did tell him that if he wanted more beer money, that what we could do is split up our finances.
See,
And
she keeps putting that split up our finances. There's
you are
a
making
very distinct break in it. We
you
can
are
split up our finances.
you are making mountains out of molehills. And you are not going to be my favorite husband anymore after this.
Oh, baby, I love you too.
Yeah. But I did say that we could set up joint account, like a joint account. We could have our separate accounts, and so anything that we needed for the house, it could go into the joint. Blink if you need help. Why is everyone's taking your side? You're such a manipulator. This is why you are King Asshole. And that's why you have a crown and a badge.
No, we recycled the crown and badge many years.
Yes. But but I did. I offered that. So our each of our checks would go into our individual accounts. We would put money into a joint one, and then we would be able to spend whatever we wanted out of each of our own. And oh my god, Blinker, raise your eyebrows.
It seemed like a lot of work. I wasn't going to go
Yeah. He-
for that. Ouch.
How good were you with money before you met me?
I always had a couple of paychecks in my wallet, but that's because I was doing cash jobs writing papers for people on the side.
Oh, we don't tell.
It was back in college, 20 years ago. Definitely past the statute of limitations.
Mhm.
And I'm in a different country. They can't really catch me down anyway. And what are they going to do? Take my degree back?
Jesus.
If they refund it, I'll do that. Sure.
Yeah. But no, seriously though, did you ever budget, track your spending or anything before you met me, or did you just rely on the money that you had from your tips that were in your cash jar in your room?
Well, both. Okay. Because back before I met you, and I had just
Now
a
we're getting to
retail
some truth.
job, I had a checkbook. Remember those? You could write a check, and then you
They still
had the
have checkbooks in
balances.
the US.
What?
Yeah, they do apparently. People still write checks.
And they're not just my dad?
No.
Are you sure?
How many of you that are in the US still have a checkbook and write checks?
Do you balance that checkbook? We have checks in Australia, Taylor, but we don't have a checkbook, personal account where you just write it out and you go to the grocery store and you go, I'm going to spend $20.37 and I sign this and I hand it over. Because that was how I kept track of my money back in the early days. And I always realized that the first check I ever tried to write was for $7.01 because I wrote it over the top of the divider that's supposed to go underneath your check in the carbon copy. It was going to be $7.01, and it was to what was the name of the grocery store in Jamestown?
Oh, which one?
Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee. Yeah. So I tried to write a check to Hy-Vee for $7.01. I wrote it on the top of the clear coat, and then I ripped the check out, and I went, "Well, that didn't work."
I think I actually still have one of your checkbook. I know I still have my checkbook register when we had our joint account in Omaha at Wells Fargo.
Mm. So yeah, that's how I used to keep track of my money. Was my checkbook register. I'd balance my checkbook every once in a while.
How often was once in a while?
Couple of weeks because I'd have to decide whether I needed to cash the paycheck that I still had in my wallet.
Okay, so yeah, people are still writing
See,
checks.
in the 80s.
Kells is in Australia,
Yeah, back in
so
the
back in the
80s.
80s. And then looking all old leaning forward so you can read.
Well, I'm trying to move past your finger because your fingers all like doing that stuff. So
Why are you so mean to me?
I'm not being mean
Why
to you.
don't you love me
I
anymore?
love you very much, but we
You
are.
just want me to die so you can have all my money.
If it's an accident, I think the insurance doubles. Just check. So I don't want it to be on purpose, and I don't want it to be of natural causes, baby.
Uh, but yeah, using the checkbook register. I still remember you had to call your brother and tell him where money was in your room for him to get.
That was your fault as well.
That was not my fault.
It was absolutely
Crystal,
your fault.
welcome. Gosh, she can't hear me though.
She was going to, well, she needed to go to the beauty salon, so she asked me to drop her off, which I did in my awesome muscle car, which was a 1972 Ford Ranchero.
Hideous. Ugly.
It was awesome. Best car you've ever seen in your life. Now, granted, it wasn't quite finished, but anyway, what happened was I was waiting for personalized plates from the state of Montana. I was in the state of North Dakota. I had a temporary registration. The cops kept pulling me over. Well, the first cop pulled me over, no big deal. The second cop that pulls me over goes, "Hey, your license is suspended." I went, "That's not possible. I was just pulled over the other day because you guys don't know how to read all of this stuff. I mean, maybe you're reading your thing incorrectly." Probably the wrong thing to say.
Oh, Marlene's not here anymore.
So
She would rail you for this.
I got handcuffed. I got taken to jail for driving on a suspended license. Meanwhile, she's at the beauty salon, but she has to get to campus to take her final exam. I'm in jail. So I'm making phone calls trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of jail. I managed to get through to Erin to tell her where I'm at. So she calls back. I try calling my sister in law to try to get money to make cash bail. When my sister in law tries to call back because she got the voicemail, they said, "No, you've already called and talked to him." I mean, because they couldn't tell the difference between Erin and my sister in law. So I called Pizza Hut, where I happen to be a shift manager. And I called up, spoke with the manager on duty. I said, "Who do you have as a delivery driver?" He says, "We have Lauren." I said, "Okay, I need Lauren on his next delivery to go past my house. Go into the front door, it will be unlocked. Walk in, take the first right, turn immediately right, go into my room. In the top drawer, there is a envelope that is holding about $600 in cash. Please have him grab that envelope, come to the jailhouse, and bail me out." Which happened. I got bailed out of jail by a Pizza Hut delivery driver who was on duty. And then when I got to court and I sat in front of the judge, and judge like, "How do you plead?" I'm like, "I don't know. Here's the story." And the judge went, "Yeah, we'll dismiss that case." Um, so yeah, bit of a mess out of the whole thing. But if you've ever been bailed out of jail by a Pizza Hut delivery driver, raise your hand.
Nope.
No? Maybe they're just missing the emojis on the chat function. I don't know. I can't be the only person that that's happened to.
No, I think but this is how he inadvertently learned about cash budgeting and the importance of keeping cash on hand, to
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
help
Because
to help you out.
well, then you don't
You
have
ma
to panhandle. You can send the Pizza Hut guy to your dresser drawer to get the cash out.
well, these days you would have to send an Uber.
I ain't trusting an Uber driver in my house.
Mm.
Well, these days I have a kid, but
Was the judge laughing when he realized
well, I won't say the judge didn't know me. It was a small town, but the way the
you're
way
you didn't have the most reputable character.
I did too.
You did.
I had the most repeatable character in town.
Not a good one.
No, reputable is what
Oh,
you said. I said repeatable, meaning
no.
I'd repeatedly seen him. Um, it's not my fault. It never is. But um,
Next level, getting the pizza guy involved.
so the judge basically says, "How do you plead?" I said, "I'm not sure. Here's the story." And he goes, "So you didn't get a ticket for the supposed reason that your license was suspended?" I said, "No." He says, "Have you resolved it since?" I said, "Yes." The district attorney says, "Did you know that you are required by law to notify the Department of Motor Vehicles when you change addresses?" I said, "Well, I certainly do now." Um, Judge said, "Well, since you've got no points against you, you weren't notified of it, I'll go ahead and dismiss the charges."
I know who your judge was.
Upmeyer,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was my lawyer's wife.
yeah. The judge in town and the biggest lawyer in town where they had the same last name. But
Yeah.
um, so, yeah.
No, yeah, Crystal, I'm cracking up because the judge was the husband of my lawyer for my divorce. So there, it's Jamestown is a small town. There's I think 16,000 people there, and
Uh, uh, so lay budgets. Yeah, the Pizza Hut guy and I knew
Lauren,
each other.
yeah.
We knew each other beforehand. I had been a shift manager at Pizza Hut prior, so he knew who I was, and we had already kind of known each other. But no, he and I weren't exactly friends. He was an old dude. He was like 40 years old.
Oh, how old are you?
I'm an old dude now. So Lauren would probably be closer to 70 now. Um, Still not friends. Knew each other. It was cool, trustworthy. He liked his job as a delivery driver. Not somebody I would have hung out with. The shift manager, on the other hand, was somebody that I hung out with a lot and we partied together quite often, which is why it all worked out.
Mm. So that's why we have bail money.
Yes, always have bail money.
Never know we're gonna need that cash.
Correct.
That actually ties into another question.
Here's the question: have you ever needed bail money? What are you doing to her?
What do you do when you and Aaron disagree about money or can't see eye to eye?
Sell one of my Jeep parts and don't tell her how much money I got for it. No, I wouldn't do that. What do I do when we don't see eye to eye? I just go, all right, fine. And then I ignore it because if it's important, we'll work it out. If we're angry at each other, we'll work it out. But we tend to see pretty close to the same outcomes for ourselves, um, and for the family. And that's, as long as we look at it through the same lens, I don't think there's often times that we don't see eye to eye. Um, she might, would you stop knocking things up? Don't step on your brother. Jesus. She might not have as much openness to risk as I do. So I've got a fairly high risk tolerance when it comes to investing. Um, that's not always the best thing. I gambled $500 on what I thought was going to be a very fun little venture. At one stage, it jumped up in value in the stock to 5 times what I paid for it. It is now 1/10 of what I paid for it. So I thought, well, we'll see where it looks in 20 years. But we'll get, we worked through things pretty easily.
It's no, this is actually Torque is the one that's being stupid. Turbo's actually been okay because that's their
Um,
their
their
envelope.
envelope, yeah.
Yeah, the doggo envelope is.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Only one sneeze that time.
No, there's two more. You always sneeze in threes
Well, not right now. I'm not.
because you've got performance pressure.
Is that what it is?
Hmm.
So you're just waiting for the money shot. Okay.
How early? How early in our relationship did we talk about finances?
Kind of at the beginning. Um, we didn't exactly have, your most normal courtship where you're going out and doing dates and putting on your best face. And we met at work.
Mm.
We worked for two different companies, but it was always kind of,
Marlene, you missed his story about how he had to have a friend bail him out of jail with cash. You would have loved it.
but we were always, we were very aware that we weren't in the normal courtship behaviors because Peyton was always going to be there. I'd never I had never seriously dated a single mother before.
Just put that qualification qualification
Yeah, I had to put
in.
that
Yeah.
qualification in because apparently I had kind of sort of dated a single mother once before I got to you.
You
But
kinda sorta slept with a single mother, you didn't really
yeah,
date her.
that's that is a very good qualifier, and we'll remove the once. Um, so when things got serious, we were pretty honest with each other about where things stood. What?
I hate you and I love you at the same time. Crystal, she done spilled his tea. He spilled his own tea.
So, knowing that there was going to be a kid in the mix who was important to me and who I was going to be a part of, we pretty quickly talked about what finances looked like. Now, granted, back in those days, I couldn't have picked up debt if I wanted to. I had no history of it. I had no solid way of getting debt. I had a checking account, I owned a car, everything I always paid for in cash. Um, it wasn't until we were living in Omaha and I had steady work and I wanted to, well, we looked at getting a car loan
Mhm.
and tried to just put in for a car loan. First time I'd ever tried it. I said, yeah, I'm looking at a loan for $9,000, whatnot. And the bank credit union it was, calls me back and said, "Well, you've got no credit history other than your student loans, and you've never had any car history, all of this, so we're not really sure we can give you a $9,000 loan. Would you be willing to put some money in?" And I went, "Well, I'd already been planning on putting 5,000 of my own money in." They went, "Oh, you're looking at $14,000 cars, not $9,000 cars." I said, "Yeah." "Oh, okay, your loan's approved." Um, so it was one of those things where I didn't realize how that banking system worked until then. Torque, quit licking her.
I was just saying hello to Chris Budgets. She's laying down in her own mucus, meaning that she's probably not feeling well. Judy, she just got back from Vegas.
Gotcha.
Did your behavior with finances as a married couple set you up for success in your future?
Yes, I'm going to retire early because Aaron is very much a financial Gestapo.
Gestapo?
Gestapo. I was going to say Nazi, but that's just not a term we use anymore.
No.
No.
Yes,
Well,
I just growled at you.
the Gestapo was, of course, the Nazis' henchmen. But don't, don't. Um, yes, so the that is the point. Our financial behavior as a married couple is all about what we do going forward. Uh, we could have continued renting, and it would have been perfectly fine. Would have been actually probably helpful for our budget at certain areas. But the thing is, if you're going to retire, you have to own
Or
a
die.
house. Well, yeah, you don't do that.
Mm.
You have to have a piece of property that you own that you can then flip and downgrade in the future. And that's really why we've kind of changed our tack. We could have very easily lived for the moment by continuing to rent, by not having the pressures of home ownership or the myriad other things that come along with it. But the best decision you can make is to have that ownership have that piece of real property that you can then later on sell and move off to cans should you want.
Um, what advice? By the way, Crystal, at the Crystal Method, if you guys don't follow her channel, you should. If you have not read her books, you should. She's actually a published author.
Oh,
She was the
very
one that
cool.
I showed you when she had water damage and all of her books got destroyed and such.
Did you make her buy an iPad and get rid of all of her books too?
She was I didn't we had to get rid of your books because we moved to another country.
You got rid of my books.
You're fine. Um, so what advice do you have for single folks who want marriage in the future? She's asking for herself, and then I'll get to lay budgets question.
Okay. That one's probably better for you to answer because you being a female and such. For me, the answer is do not ever give control. You can share control,
Yep,
but do not give control. And anything that you have earned up to that point, that's yours, right? We don't enter into a marriage unless you do it when you're both flat ass broke, like we did.
we did. Yeah.
Um, you don't both own everything. You've got your own accomplishments. You've got your own things. So my advice would be that anything that you have already built up goes into a completely separate account. Now, look, you can will that to them, you can will that to your kids, you can will that to your family, you can push that, but control that. That's yours. Everything you build from that point, you share. You work together from that point to build your mutual nest egg. And who knows, in 30, 40, 50 years, if you guys are still together, then great. But the thing is you got to protect that. I've got a friend who is currently going through a very nasty separation, and he's going to lose everything. Not only the stuff that he got while they were together, he's going to lose half of everything that he had before because he didn't go through the steps of protecting it. So everything you have to have faith and be optimistic towards where your relationship is going, but you also have to be realistic in the fact that some people out there will change, or they've never changed and they've put on a different front to you for who you think they are. So anything you've got to this point is yours. Do what you can to protect it. And then later on, when everything is perfect and you have the best relationship in the world, that's when you share it. That's when you open it up and that's when you draw on it. But, and anybody that really has an argument about that and doesn't like that approach, that's somebody I'd be questioning as to whether that's somebody who cares about you or cares about your stuff.
Mm. I think Marcus, Debt Free Dad, he had a really good live, I think just about a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was talking with an estate planner, so an attorney who works in estate planning and wills and such like that. And one of the questions that she asked him was, when he was saying, how do I set things up for the future? And what her question was is, are you looking at how are you leaving money for your wife for your widow, or how are you leaving money for her future spouse? And that hit so hard hearing that. Um, because one of the things that I had always been told and heard a lot from probably about my mid 30s was that the biggest financial risk a woman takes is getting married and having children. And there is an element of risk to that. But at the same time, as Gaz mentioned, we're watching a friend, and we've been providing him with some financial assistance for some of his legal battles and such. And I look at that because I see that in my son, right? So I think about what Marcus said and what his gosh, I wish I could remember her name. If anybody was on that live or can look it up and can drop her name, um, that would be really great. It's no secret what I am going through health-wise. It is no secret, that I'm trying to ensure that my husband is set up, that my son is set up, etcetera. But then also, how do I protect them? We never think about it from a male perspective, and Gaz and I think it's because we were so living paycheck to paycheck, each of us ourselves when we first met. Ashley Steps, thank you, Marlene. Go and watch Marcus's live with Ashley, or go and check out her channel, because the amount of knowledge that she shared in that, and it was so great. I love Marcus. Marcus was like one of my first 5 subscribers to my channel. And we've had discussions back and forth and banter back and forth, and when she hit him with that question of, are you looking to take care of your wife, or are you looking to take care of your wife's spouse, future spouse? I mean, I think of a lot of things. I never thought about it that way, and I could tell in his reaction, and like at that point, that he had never thought about it that way as well. And that's also the flipping the script and changing the wording on things. I think it is okay to have that financial security. I have my own, you have your own, we have our own. We're old. Well, yeah, we're old, and we're a bit old school in that
She's old.
oh, whatever, you're younger than me, shut up. But we never actually had a joint bank account until we got married.
Yeah.
We had separate bank accounts the entire time.
Yeah.
Even when we moved to Australia, which in Australia, separate bank accounts is the norm, and it's actually really difficult
It's a pain in the
to
ass.
get anything in two people's names in Australia as well. And yeah, Marlene, I know you are all about separate budgets. And a lot of our previous experiences also inform, I think, those decisions. I don't know that we ever had a conversation about having a joint bank account or anything. We've always had conversations about finances. We've always known each other's debts and everything else. I don't know how those conversations came up, I don't think they were intentional. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. We were probably drunk drinking Heineken after getting off of work or something. But I honestly don't know where those conversations came from, but we did have them early on. And we knew where we were. We thought of it a lot. Had more than I think that was another question. Have we ever thought about money? Have we ever thought about money?
Have we ever thought about anything else?
Yes.
We have.
Uh-huh.
You got like a grab bag of I'm gonna start a fight over this. Um,
Because you do a lot of stupid things and you put a lot of little tokens in the bag.
well, yeah, but you try to tie that shit together like some weaver tying threads together. Anyway, yes, we have fought over money. We have fought over whether I make enough, whether I don't make enough, whether I'm putting myself through too much for what I'm making, whether I should quit my job, whether I care about my job more than I care about my family, whether there's been a lot. And I've been pretty honest with people that I mentor at work around the pressures around that kind of thing. And I, talk to people about what would have happened if I'd have stayed in the US. I have very little doubt that I would have been by now, a vice president of some division within my former employer. I also have no doubt that had that happened, I would be divorced. Um, in those early days when I was climbing that ladder, that's where all of my focus was. It was greasy rung by greasy rung, and
Dude, the
it
dog
didn't matter.
buried your phone in the backyard.
The thing that mattered was how do I get to that next level? How do I take care of my family in the future? How do I make more money so that I can secure my family and make sure that they are taken care of? And what I lost track of was that my family was there in the present. And like I said, I'd be very successful had we stayed in the US. I'd also most likely either be on my second marriage or alone. Maybe third marriage.
Third. I would say your
Third?
third
You
marriage.
reckon third?
Yeah. My
Nah.
immediate guess would have been third.
But I would have lost everything that's important. Um, sure, I'd have gained all that, but we had lots of fights over that. I used to, at the drop of the hat, we need you in Atlanta. Okay, I'm there. Be on a plane in 2 hours. Okay, I'm packed. When am I getting home? Not sure yet. Probably a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe three. Doesn't matter. Okay. I didn't ask permission on those. I left. Called, said,
Didn't
"Hey,
always get
miss
an
ya."
answer.
But those days, I learned the importance of balancing those. I could have been very successful from a work point and very unsuccessful in a life point. So chose that balance.
Harmony. We don't say balance here.
We don't say balance.
Nope, we say harmony.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't really achieve a balance. You have to
I achieve
harmonize.
balance.
That's probably why we don't have harmony.
Physics. You can achieve balance. Don't give me that. I don't understand sign language.
Yes, you do. See? Everybody is saying harmony.
Harmony. Okay.
We that's verbiage, words, connotations.
Yeah, but harmony deals with music, and I'm musically disabled.
Yeah,
I clap on one and three.
I know. I hate you for that. Stop. Um, do you think it's important to have the finances talk early when meeting someone? Like for me, I mentioned I'm on a debt-free journey, so I'm a planner. I think so. They say that you're not
How
supposed
early?
they say you're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and money. And
Look, to me, it's there's certain things about myself I'll reveal to anybody.
obviously,
Yeah, obviously. Then there's other things that are a bit more personal to me, and I go, wait, do I want this person to know that? Does this person deserve to know that? So until you're sure that you're taking an interest in that person and that that person could become something, there's no reason to mention it. I don't think, right? I it's it's the vegan at the barbecue, right? Nobody asks a vegan at the barbecue to talk about being a vegan. I made you vegan food. It's over there. Go over there in the corner and shut up and don't tell everybody you're a vegan. What? Vegan at the barbecue.
there are some people here that might
Okay.
be vegan. So,
All right. Let me change that up. Here's a joke for you.
oh, good God,
If you have a vegan CrossFitter show up at your barbecue,
cat's a
which one do
CrossFitter.
they talk about first?
A cat's gonna unleash on you.
That's all right. So, vegan CrossFitter shows up at a barbecue. Which one do they talk about first? The barbecue isn't the right place to talk about either of those things. Wait. Take some time. Make sure that you're actually going to see these people again and that it matters. That's all that I'm saying.
How many more people do you want to insult in one sentence?
Well, I'll insult CrossFitters as much as I possibly can. That shit's gold.
See, that's cat, healthy, wealthy, and blessed.
Yeah.
Katya, yeah.
See,
Um,
no vegan CrossFitters.
how long have we been together? We just say 20 plus years because we don't remember actual dates.
We don't remember actual dates.
I don't.
You know, do you remember the date that we agreed upon as our actual date?
No.
You don't.
Nope.
I do.
Okay. Good for you.
It was the 15th of February, 2001, because on the 14th of February, you did not like people. So I said, okay, well, we can start dating then.
Making things up.
I might be, but you can't remember.
I
So it
know.
doesn't
See, that's
matter.
the thing. I can't remember. You can make up whatever story you want. Jeez. No, right, he doesn't remember. He's making it up because I don't remember. And so therefore whatever he says, he's going to tell me that I have to remember. He's manipulative like that. Like I've told you guys, he's a wordsmith.
There were no new words in that entire thing. That is
Oh
not
my gosh.
wordsmithing.
Technicality.
That's lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm a reader.
Mm. Um, I think yeah, so when you would have fell for that line.
What?
He's Crystal, he's wonderfully terrible at what he does. He yeah, he yeah, well, actually, no, he's actually not a good salesman. My mother hates him, which is true. But my mother hates everybody. But I think if to go back to Crystal's question of when should finances come up? I think that if that if that conversation happens naturally, hey Shalise, welcome. If the conversation happens naturally, I think that's also really I think that's a really good indicator, as well. Oh my freaking god, yes, he is a Gemini. You are a Gemini, and you know I don't even believe in that stuff.
Well, you just kind of went nuts on it, so
I know, but I have never mentioned what month your birthday is in. Nothing.
what are you
Why
looking
are
at me
you giving
for?
me that look?
Look at them. Look at
Don't
them. You.
y- you give me.
I'm gonna take over your thing again.
Okay.
Hello, Papa.
Oh, cat. He's being he's being behaved for the most part. Well, now he's talking to his dog. So now Turbo's gonna get jealous. That might be. Oh yeah, that goes back to Lay had asked that question.
Down.
Are Marlene and I related?
Down.
No.
Down.
Marlene and I are not related. We met each other through
Get down.
YouTube. My plant fell in love with her plant, and that's
They both died. It was Romeo and Juliet. It was very sad. Except Romeo and Juliet did suicide, and you guys are like planticide,
planticide,
herbicide,
herbicide. Yeah,
murderous herbicidals.
but yeah, no, we've never met in person. Um, yeah, you did just die. We've never met in person or anything. It's just yeah, you sometimes just meet people in different random ways, kind of like this guy. Um, managed to stick around for however however many years for it.
We've had like 9 questions on how long we've been together, and now it's however many years.
Sometimes you just want to forget.
I won't say that.
No, you won't.
Mm.
Do you ever feel like you aren't living life because of budget restrictions?
Um, yeah, that one's tough because sometimes I look at it and I go, well, why don't we just raid the grocery budget? If the fuel budget's out, raid the grocery budget, and then I can go off into the mountains and drive my Jeep and do all sorts of fun stuff. And
Your Jeep.
yeah, my Jeep. You've got 2 other Jeeps.
I have three.
No,
Even Turbo's agree.
TJ's in my name now. Mine. It's the cheapest Jeep. If you want, I'll take the JQ.
Yeah,
But um, sometimes, yeah, you feel like it'd be nice to be able to just do things spur of the moment and go, okay, we're going to go do this. But you can kind of build that into the budget as well. We used to have a date night, but then Aaron got bored with date nights, so we don't have date
I
nights
got bored
anymore.
with my date, not date night.
Oh, okay.
I need a new date.
Or you just need to quit ordering pizza.
Rude.
So, yeah, if you budget in and give yourself a bit of a slush fund, you can do things like that. But the problem is, some of the things I want to do you're not going to budget into a weekly or a biweekly budget. So you go, all right, every 6 months we can go do something like this. Uh, I look at it a bit like building up annual leave at work, right? I don't use it all, but I've got plenty of it there so that when I am ready to use it, it's there. It's budgeted. I accrue it every week. Right now I think I've got a little over 2 months of annual leave built up. So I can take that time when I want to. If I budget far enough in advance, then I don't miss out on the things. So I miss out on being, uh, what's the term I want to use? Impulsive. But as long as I can withhold my impulses for a while, then it's there and I'm not missing out on anything.
Ooh, impulse buy. If you could buy anything
Mm,
today,
today.
no restrictions,
No restrictions.
what would you buy?
A jet. Oh, do we have to be able to afford it?
Let's say we have an unlimited budget.
An unlimited budget. Oh, aircraft carrier.
An aircraft carrier.
Yep.
So you could have all the jets you want.
I'm going to have all the jets I want, and I can project military power, and I can hold small city or countries to ransom. It's a no-brainer earner. I can just earn money by holding small countries to ransom or providing protection, as the mafia calls it.
Okay, demonetization just happened right there.
Why?
You just talked about getting an aircraft carrier and holding ransom.
Well, how do you get demonetized for that? Like it's going to really happen. Please.
Stranger things have happened.
What's my name? Kim? Jong? Ouch! Don't. I'm not trying to get you demonetized. It's not like I'm singing the praises of.
Yeah, that's gonna get flagged. An aircraft carrier, though. I never would have guessed that.
Well, if I've got no actual limitations, why wouldn't I go big?
Well, you are small enough, you'd fit on an aircraft carrier, no problem. You can name it
Uh,
after my dad.
Aircraft carriers are like the size of cities. So even if I was big, I
I've
would fit
been
on an
on
aircraft carrier.
aircraft carriers.
Well, then
It's
why did you say that? Because I'm small, I'd fit on one.
because you'd be able to walk through all of the different stairways and such. I saw how hard of a time my dad had. He was 6'6".
Okay.
You are not.
Well, then I'll just take nuclear weapons.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Twice the twice the bluff, less than half the walking. So
Oh, he's comfortable. He is comfortable with those. Some of these have been answered. What is
Turbo, stop it.
quit eating your foot?
Quit eating your foot.
What is we're talking to our dog.
Oh, do you
Uh,
still have that photo from when we went to the ball?
I think yeah, Marlene, I can send that to you. He is here is one thing. It is not an unknown secret. I am taller and older than my husband. And he loves my height. He has absolutely no issues with it. whatsoever. He doesn't mind if I wear heels when we go out. None of that. Um, if anything, he puffs out his chest a bit more, and you do too. You're like, she's mine. Or maybe 20 years ago, he was like that.
Wow. Wow. That is one way to interpret my self-confidence. That is one way to go. That man is supremely self-confident. He puffs his chest. What the hell was that? I mean, for Christ's sake, I'm comfortable with who I am, but it sure isn't puffing chest out and going, yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't done that since college.
Which is where we met.
Yeah, and that was in the library when the dudes were checking you out. I'm like, hey, you ready to go home yet? We'll get naked. That was the last time I did that because you were mortified.
Just like you are now.
I'm
What?
not mortified.
What's
I'm
the
comfortable with myself. I know who I am.
yeah, but that was well after my days. The first husband was that one. Um, what's the what is the one money habit you admire about each other?
Oh, you go first.
No,
Ah,
no,
yeah.
no, no, no.
Ouch! Get off of me. Thank you.
It was not me. It's the dog. My hands are here. The dog is there.
What did you do that?
He's talking to the dog.
Well, I wasn't looking at
Oh
you.
no,
So.
I can't do that. That looked even worse.
Up. Come here. Come here. Ouch, you're on my fucking foot. Get off. There.
You are swearing.
He's big and rude. Hello, Torque. Yes, Bobby.
You have to answer the question.
What
They're-
do I
they're not
admire
going to-
about Aaron's money stuff? Was that the question? What do I admire about Aaron's money stuff?
What's the one money habit you admire most about each other?
I admire the fact that she is willing to actually dump her coins into a jar and let them build up. I hide my coins so that I can still build them up and spend them without being trapped.
You do not.
Of course I do not. Protect me. Protect me. Okay, get down.
You hide your coins from me?
No, they're in my wallet. They're not very well hidden.
I don't touch your wallet.
Exactly. That's why they're not very well hidden. Turbo. Get down. Get down. Jesus.
He
What? There's not a lot of them. I'll give you a
This was supposed to be something that you admire, not a money secret.
No, I admire that you keep your coins and dump them out and
But you secretly keep your coins.
well that's not what we said was the point of the question.
No,
So
but
you
that's
should
what you
quit
revealed.
You should not fixate on that. Dude, seriously. Go.
I was going to say that I admire that he's honest with me about what he does with his money, but apparently he's not.
I am too.
He's allowed me to be fooled.
I keep a coin here and there for my slush fund.
What is your slush fund for?
Hookers and cocaine. In 50 years or so, I'll be able to afford one or the other. It's for when I go, okay, if I bring a bunch of coins home, Aaron's going to take them. So if I put $1 in, I get a $5 note back or a $10 note back. No, you don't get my $5
You
notes either.
don't. even with our money, like, when I send you with
Oh,
grocery
no, no,
money,
no, 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 no. That money's safe.
you
That money's safe.
you keep grocery money
No, I don't.
so that I don't have funds to put into our savings,
That's
and
not
those
true.
savings goes into Jeep
That's
parts.
not true. It's only with my beer money fund that I do that with.
No, because you said that you put a coin in, and there is no self-checkout for beer.
But I give them an extra coin. So it comes up to $16 because, and then I go, there's $21. And then I get a $5 note back.
But you're supposed to give me the $5
No,
notes.
not out of my beer money. I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
Yes.
that's not
All your
fair.
$5 notes belong to me.
Stupid challenges. I want to start carrying a $5 note and
I'm
a
just
$1 coin, and then when it's $16, I'll go, here's 26.
yeah, I'm just
Don't
making don't I what?
don't give me grumpy looks.
I don't get grumpy looks.
You do too give grumpy looks.
Mm-mm.
Turbo,
Even
get her.
Turbo's not happy with you. See, Turbo's even judging you.
Turbo, get her.
If we could live anywhere else, would we move or stay where we are? So anywhere else in Australia or anywhere else in the world?
I would, if we were completely self-sufficient, I'd move back to Montana in a heartbeat. Erin would not, because there would not be much for her to do there. Within Australia, I could handle living up in the far north Queensland. I would love it. Um, haven't been to the Northern Territory yet. Would probably check it out. What I don't want to do is move to a city like Sydney, Melbourne,
Mm,
Adelaide. Those don't hold much appeal to me.
in the world? Anywhere in the world.
Montana, best place in the world. As long as we had a big enough spread, I could handle it.
Yes, I would not want to go back. I would not want to go back to the US. Like maybe if the US got their healthcare system fixed, then I'd be like, yeah.
In Montana, you just go to a veterinarian.
How are you still alive? Jessica. Jessica. I love Jessica Rabbit. She's my hero. Um, Greece. I like I like parts of yeah, I like parts of Greece. Um, yeah. See, I think because there are so few places that I've been to. Really difficult. Um, I've always wanted to go to Tuscany in Italy. Egypt is still that's my big travel goal. New Zealand is beautiful.
Good hunting,
Oh, why is
good fishing,
it? Oh, okay.
fishing and hunting. I could live in New Zealand.
Current bike is a 1850 Harley Davidson Softail. Before the one that burnt up was a
Well, we've got the Gutless Wonder as well.
we don't talk about the Gutless Wonder because you are so mean to the Gutless Wonder.
Before the soft tail was the night rod.
Yeah.
So night rod special. Caught fire.
I think a girls' trip to Tuscany would be great. But then I've also never been like, I've never been to Canada either. What? You don't like Canada?
It ain't exactly exotic.
I'm not talking about exotic, but it's about nice places.
Well,
So why do things have to be exotic?
which part of Canada you want to go?
Okay, Joe Exotic,
What part of Canada do you want to go to?
but eastern side, that's near Niagara.
So Toronto.
That's it.
That's the eastern side.
I hate you.
So Toronto, which is basically like Detroit and New York City had an illicit affair and dumped their kid north of the border. That's Toronto. But that's cool if that's where you want to go.
Well, it's gonna be after you die and I'm using all of your money.
That'll get you far. Might actually get you to the airport.
And this is why I budget.
Hmm.
Do you know exactly how much money we have invested?
Not to the dollar. I know approximate, but not to the dollar. And to be fair, I don't care. That's not something that we need to access at the moment, so it's not something I'm overly concerned about. I'm not going to track what's supposed to be a long term build, short term frame. So, how much we put in every week, and from there I can kind of guesstimate. But if the stock market tanks down, big deal. As long as we continue to put money in, comes out better in the long run. Stock market goes through the roof, fantastic, but I still know how much we put in. So that's more important to me than what's currently invested and what the current value is how much have we put in and when do we expect to get it out?
Okay, and final question, because we're coming up on 2 hours and
Holy shit.
yeah, I had said that I'm cutting it off at 2 hours. I don't care
No
if
wonder
Chris
everybody's
is here.
left.
No, no, we've maintained at 15. We had a high of 20. So, a final question for you.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a sad one. If Aaron dies,
When?
well, yeah, there's a win. Will you continue budgeting in a similar way?
Probably not.
What are you gonna do with my money when I die?
When when you die, assuming I'm not, in the fiery car accident that has led to it.
You are not dying in a motorcycle accident.
Well, you're not dying in a motorcycle accident either.
Well, that's
So,
why I don't ride with you. Anyways, answer the question.
well, how did you die? Did you double up? So, the probably the first thing I would do would be to use whatever life insurance, whatever inheritance, whatever else is there to eliminate all debt. And then from that stage, it would be looking at how Peyton is taken care of in the future because I can live off my own earnings. I mean, that's not a problem. If we get rid of anything and everything that we owe, house gets paid off, everything else gets paid off, then we worry about how things get split. So, no, I wouldn't budget in the same way. I'd look at how do we start from scratch, right? with an actual accumulation of wealth.
You said we. Who's the we? If I'm dead, who is your we?
Our son.
Just, just check.
And then when I replace you with whatever younger model I can find, be 90 years old, so I don't imagine she'll be too running too well, but
Marlene, I told you that
things
I
then
told you I
split
got
from
some
there.
brutal questions, but I mean
Yeah.
it's a reality. It's a reality for us.
So yeah. Now I would not budget the same. I would make sure that we started fresh and that
You
anything and
keep saying
everything at
we.
that. Yes, Peyton and I. We. We. Ain't no other girlfriend yet.
I don't know. Sounded kind of French to me.
We. Pepe Le Pew is apparently canceled because he's a little touchy. I don't blame him. Ooh. Um, but so your son and I would start from scratch. We would then figure out how things look going forward and then what my life looks like after that. Right? His life obviously continues along. He gets girlfriends or wives or probably shouldn't have done that in the plural, but it,
Yeah.
he, he goes and becomes an actual man. And I, yeah, yes, by taking on the responsibility and the ownership of life sucks, and I'm going to wrestle with it. I don't understand how women don't understand. Anyway, once he starts actually, taking some steps and whatnot, then we figure out what things look like. Obviously, he's going to be my only heir, unless somehow, I knock up some 70-year-old woman after you're already gone, and somehow she pops out a kid, and that'd be really weird. But that would set off, seriously, that would set off a Game of Thrones style fight between them. You'd have 50-year-old Peyton. Now he'd be close to 60 or 70 at that stage against a newborn child. Be tough. Be very tough. Somebody should make a series out of that.
I think they did.
I'm not going to give George R. Martin any more ideas. He needs to finish those fucking books. So my tangent is now over. I have.
You didn't answer the damn question.
I'm sure I answered the question. I am absolutely sure I answered the question. I said no. And then I went down my mental.
The answer was not no. The answer was what would you what would okay, so you wouldn't budget the same.
Yeah, see, no. And then I kind of went down my little path of
So you're gonna build your own Game of Thrones chair.
that's a
Like
lot.
what, in the mountains? Like in a house in the mountains?
No.
With your 70-year-old?
Well, because you're
young
not going to
bride?
die until you're 90, so that's why I'd be a couple 70-year-old because I'd be looking for a new model. Because you're not going to die till you're 90, and at that point, it's not a big issue. I'd be like 88 ish, so a 70-year-old isn't that big of a difference at that age. Now, if you're 18 and you're picking up on her back then, that's weird. That's Roy Moore territory. But if you're 90 and 88 and you're picking up a 70-year-old, that's just the way she goes.
What are you picturing him as? The depressed Thor? Yes, absolutely. He he should be the depressed Thor.
I can't grow a belly like that though.
You deserve to be date after this. They said you get to be my date again.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're so cute.
Hmm, what else you wanna do?
Nothing. You answered the question. There's no. Oh, Marlene, we will have a conversation about that. He is so annoying.
Wanna see my belly?
He does not get. Do not know. This is not OnlyFans.
I'm just messing with you.
You are no.
I was gonna show my big fat beer belly.
You
Hey, quit eating your foot.
talking to the dog.
OnlyFans. See, I should have
Yeah,
started
you
OnlyFans.
go right ahead and start an OnlyFans. I will support you with an OnlyFans.
Yeah, like I need 1 subscriber.
Oh no, I wouldn't support you by subscribing.
Ah, well then, like I need no subscribers.
Those were all of. I think those were all of the questions. Oh, actually, wait, no, there was one last one.
Oh,
Shannon had actually sent it in. I just remembered.
okay.
Kind of touched on it some. Of what is your favorite thing about our budgeting strategy, and what is your least favorite? We already know your least favorite is that you don't get enough beer money.
My favorite thing about budgeting
Yeah,
strategy.
Veronica, he does not. His metabolism is annoying, and how much like if people were to see. No, Marlene. No.
um,
If he ever starts one and he gets a follower named Georgette, we know it's you.
just use Wilma. It'll be okay. Or was hers Fred?
She's got Fred Jr. I have Wilma.
Well,
Georgette is the pig.
you can use Wilma and I'll assume that it's you.
Why would I pay for something that I get for free at home? I'd rather pay people to have you so I don't have to deal with it.
Business opportunity here, folks. All
What is
right,
your
what's
favorite
the question?
what is your favorite thing about our budgeting strategy, and what is your least favorite? Least favorite, you don't have enough beer money.
Yeah, look, favorite thing. Sorry, just noticing the mug on my hands.
You should do some laundry.
It's glass house mud. It's stained. It's not.
You
I'm
should
doing
still do
laundry.
laundry.
I did do laundry. Favorite thing about the budget would be the idea that we're getting ahead, and it's in measurable and easily recognizable stages, right? So if you're one of those people that throws $5 a week or $5 a day inside of a pig or shoves it under your mattress or does something, you don't see that. You don't feel that. I mean, yeah, it's there. You can always grab it and access it, but it's not doing any work. So that's my favorite part about the investment strategy and our budgeting strategy is that, yeah, we're keeping ourselves from enjoying small wins today so that we can have a bigger win in the future. Favorite part of it. The end. Your turn.
They're not questions for me, they're questions for you.
Oh, well, everybody else is done.
Okay. That's weird. Never know how to end.
Any other questions, folks? Or are you just ready to quit hearing my voice, quit seeing my face, and let me go work on Jeeps
In the rain.
in the rain for the next week? But at least it's warm.
But it's true. It's like 75 degrees and raining.
All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed seeing me for the first and only time ever. Have a great one.
You're never gonna do this again?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is a bit strange.
It
Alright.
could be snow, but we don't live in Wyoming, so ha ha.
Oh, did your husband get a moose?
A moose.
Yeah, because he had a moose toad. No, he actually this'll probably be I don't know that he'll actually come back on. Still don't know what's gonna be happening. Maybe he'll start his own channel where he just gabs because as you can tell, he talks a lot, especially about himself. 70 degrees in Chicago. Yeah, it's 75 here, but raining, and I think yeah, just a yearly just a yearly appearance. That's good enough.
Yeah,
You gonna say goodbye to everybody?
I thought I did
Oh.
that twice.
Oh, fine.
Goodbye.
Go.
Goodbye, everybody.
Go away. Shoo. Jeez. It's like having another child. Oh, no, yeah, no. Marlene, I think that when you get out here, Bridger and I will probably just kind of go off and do our own thing, and you and Gaz will just you will just have your own thing. But keeping this under 3 hours for once, so it's not a slumber party or a sleepover. It did go a bit longer. I thought that it would only be about an hour, but Gary talks a lot. I don't know when I'll be back on or doing another thing or anything like that, but all of you guys stay safe wherever you are. And no, um, just take care of yourselves. Show kindness to people. Show humility. Enjoy all of the different little moments. And if you've got a partner and if you're going through the whole budgeting thing, don't be afraid to talk to them about it as well. Um, it doesn't always have to be serious. I mean, as you've seen with Gaz and I, that's we sarcasm is our love language, pretty much. Is what we have there. So don't be afraid to do that and bring all of that into that. And yeah, we'll see you guys again sometime soon. Take care. Be well. Love you all. Bye.